making the change after maybe having some success on D, and he said, if Todd tells me to play goal, I'll go play goal there as well. I mean, you need that desperation from guys that are, you know, a guy can't be picky, just got to get a chance and make some hay when you...
Yeah, and you know, you kind of answered your question there, which is fine, but it you know, he's been, when he's played on the back end, he's had a want to get up and go, and I think he's got the skills to do it. So we may insert him into that position. We haven't been good as a team. Our back end hasn't been real good. You can see the effects of some of the guys being hurt and now getting 3 or 4 games underneath them. You know, trying to find their game. So maybe at times having 7 in the lineup may be not a bad thing. So he can roam and go up and back.
What does the coach say to his team today that he maybe didn't say yesterday, or after watching the film again? Does it look as bad as?
Oh, it looks worse.
Looks worse.
Yeah, and I don't talk to the players after the game unless there's something really unique about it. I leave them alone, and we gather our thoughts and control our emotions. We review the game so that we're accurate when we hold players accountable, and we did that today. And we had a work-type day in practice, and we've got to get ready to play tomorrow.
How much worse was it watching? Were there some things that you, behind the bench, you didn't notice than you watched?
No, it's just painful to go through it again. Maybe that's what makes it worse. And then you've got the ability to rewind and really analyze. You know, we being coaches, media, fans, we see it once, we see it live, we see it fast. When you review the game, you get a chance to slow it down. You get a chance to see what caused the mistakes. You get a chance to see maybe why mistakes were caused, reads and reacts. But the players don't have that luxury. We don't have that luxury as a staff. You don't have it as media, nor do the fans. So it is a lot more tedious when you're using the stop and go buttons, right, Drew? The VHS. Beta, probably in your beta. Yeah, beta.
I mean, your team showed that they could pull themselves out before Christmas and really found consistency and quality. What's your sense of their sense of belief in themselves now that it's dipped again?
We'll be fine. We'll, you know, the other team always gets in the way. They're allowed to play good games. I thought Winnipeg played an excellent game last night, and we were very poor. So the disparity between the two teams was dramatic. I expect us to play much better against LA, but they can still get in the way. And we understand that as a team. We put ourselves in this situation, but our performance has to go up. Our details and our work ethic have to go up from what it was against Winnipeg. Chicago wasn't perfect, but we were much better than the Winnipeg game. And, you know, so one game can't throw us for a complete loop. We took did our penance this morning. Everybody accepted responsibility for it. Now let's move on and come up with a better effort.
You've made a few adjustments in game. McDavid back with Draisaitl, but you've been pretty consistent with McDavid and Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins on separate lines. Are you committed to that for a little while and feeling like that's the formula that can give you some longer-term, more consistent success? Well,
the formula can change over time. It's all about the results. You know, so it was giving us results. We haven't been very good defensively. We've gone 4-4-5 in 3 games since Christmas. So that tells me sometimes it's getting a little bit stale. We haven't been creating enough offensive chances, so sometimes that gets a little bit stale. So you want to mix things up a little bit. And we attempted it last night to try and give the group a jolt. It didn't work. We'll consider making changes for tomorrow's game, but we haven't come to that conclusion yet.
Todd, at what point does the coach say, what happened? You know, it almost looked like they wanted to get to 500, and that was their goal. And then once they got to 500, they took the foot off the gas from the outside, or am I wrong?
Well, that certainly is what it looked like. I don't think that they got together and said, okay, we're comfortable now, let's take our foot off the gas. It happens. Teams ebb and flow throughout the year. Are we in a bit of a dip, just where we're at? Potentially. If we think we're going to run at a peak from now till the end of the year, we're kidding ourselves. We're still going to have some ebbs and flows. We got to make those dips very short and very. We've got to eliminate them very quick because we're going to have them. I know we're not going 41-0 or whatever. We have 42-0. We're not. We're going to have some stinkers and we're going to play bad. But we've put ourselves in a situation where they're so magnified. The top teams go through them right now. So, like I said last night, I don't want to wipe a month or month and a half worth of hockey based on last night's effort. Let's see where they are tomorrow. If we continually see this over the next 3 or 4 games, then we've got a problem, and I think then we took our foot off the gas. Let's see if they can respond. Let's give them that challenge.
Putting Maroon back with Connor, is that just to jumpstart Maroon because he was so good with him last year?
Well, like I said, we weren't getting much offense from the team. We didn't score yesterday. It took us to the last 2 minutes against Chicago to get a goal. So we almost went, 2 full games with 1 offensive goal, and we gave up a lot. That's not a recipe for success, so shuffle them around. There's something common there with that line, and they know each other. They get a little bit of a spark when they see each other again, but wasn't successful last night.
Todd, inclusive of last year's team, does time off hurt this team more than others you've coached, and in your general opinion, other teams around the league?
Teams that I've coached in the past, this team right now, I'll deal with this team. This team's an interesting one because we've got a lot of youth, but we also have some older, bigger players. And, I remember Jacques and Mike Babcock both said it when I was working around them, that sometimes those bigger bodies, the older bodies, need to keep the engine running. They need to skate. Even if it's only for 15 or 20 minutes a day, the engine keeps going. The breaks probably don't help those type of players. Sometimes they help the younger ones. I'm sure Connor needed a break, and some of the other guys needed breaks to rest, but it can affect the heavier, bigger player when the engine doesn't keep going, in my opinion.
Todd, on the PK, you've jockeyed different people on the PK at home. At what point does the coach just say, okay, we're going to give up a goal? No matter what we do at home, seems like the other team gets 1 goal.
Never.
You're down in the game 1-0 before.
We never say that. There isn't that point. We strive to not give up the goal.